Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of the new action thriller directed, produced, and starring Dav Patel, Monkey Man. One of my highly anticipated films of the year. I was very excited for this because I love Dav Patel. I've been following him since Slumdog Millionaires, that awful Avatar: The Last Airbender live action movie by M. Night Shyamalan, but I liked him in it. Chappie, Lion, the dude is an amazing actor. I've been really bummed out that I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff since Slumdog Millionaire. You know, sporadically he'll pop up in things, and he's working. He's a working actor, of course, but, you know, nothing big. You know, these big blockbuster films or these franchise films that seem to come a dime a dozen lately, and they give it to anybody. Why hasn't Dav Patel gotten it? You know, he has it all. You know, why hasn't he gotten it? Well, I guess he's picky with his roles, and I can understand that. And this one, he picked himself. As I mentioned to open up this review, he not only starred in this film, he produced it or co-produced it, as well as directed it. He came up with the story for it. This is clearly his project, his film, his dream, whatever it was. This was his baby, and he ushered it into theaters this past weekend, and I got a chance to see it. I am so happy that I went to the theater to see this film, to support this film, because I completely enjoyed this movie. The premise to Monkey Man: a young man unleashed a campaign of vengeance against the corrupt leaders who murdered his mother and continue to systematically victimize the poor and the powerless. Yes, this isn't your typical John Wick, you killed my dog, I'm coming after you movie. This is so much more. It is a revenge film at its core, but it's so much more to this movie. I really thought going in, or at least when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, okay, we're getting another John Wick clone movie, you know, a guy that's just unstoppable one-man army force, you know. I thought that's what we were going to get. And yeah, we did get some of that, but not like John Wick. You see, John Wick has become his own genre of film. You know, it's his own thing. You remember when Die Hard came out and every action movie tried to be Die Hard, which made Die Hard his own genre of action movie for years. Even now, they still trying to make Die Hard rip-off movies. But now, in this day and age, in the past, I don't know, 10 years, to be more accurately, every film is trying to be like John Wick. John Wick is his own subgenre in action films. And so they have another movie coming out, I think, next month with Bill Skarsgård. Boy Kills the World or something like that, or Boy Against the World. I forgot the name of the title, but it looks crazy. It looks like a crazy John Wick type movie, you know. But I thought that's what this was. This is not that. This is not an action revenge film that's going to reinvent the wheel. You know, a guy, he's just going systematically through the levels until he gets to the final boss to, you know, just wipe out everybody in this regime or this cartel or whatever the case may be. No. It's really a film about exposing the corruption and the discrimination in India. That's really what this film is. And it taught me a lot, because I am the type of person, I love to dive in different cultures. I love to read about different cultures and learn more, because my bubble that I'm in is not the world. The world is so much bigger, and that goes for everybody. People walk around today and think that, you know, what they believe is what should be believed by every single person, and that's not true. You know, that's far from true. And Monkey Man touches in on that. Let's start with the actor in this film, Dav Patel, his acting, because we're gonna go through and break down everything that he did in this film. You know, his directing, acting, writing, all that. But let's start with his acting. Dav Patel, I think, did a really good job leading this movie. This wasn't his strongest performance, which is weird to say. Being as though he was directed by himself and he was working off of a screenplay that he co-wrote for himself. So it is weird to say that it wasn't the strongest performance, but that character was what it was. You know, it's no more to that character than just this aimless human being who where we start the film at on his quest for vengeance and where he ended the film at with his quest for vengeance is two different people. And this film goes through a journey with this character, and you learn so much. It wasn't so much what he was doing, it was what was going on around him and the little things that subtly changed him as a person throughout this film. That's what made this movie so special. It's the little nuances throughout that really made it special. And that is a good segue into Dav Patel, the director. Him as a director, to say this is his directorial debut. This is his first attempt at directing a feature film. And after seeing his first directorial effort, I can honestly say with my whole chest, I can't wait to see the second attempt, because he did a fantastic job directing this movie. He directed the mess out of this movie. This movie was so well put together. It was beautifully shot. It's like it was no wasted shots, no wasted set pieces and whatnot. Everything just looked beautiful. You know, when you watch a movie, sometimes you watch a movie and you can tell that it was more to the set. You know, it was like a more grandiose set that was built, but they only shot like a quarter of that set. It just felt like something was missing from a scene, you know, and I'm talking production wise, not you know, acting or writing wise. It just production wise, it felt like something was missing in certain movies. You didn't get this here. Everything felt right. You know, it's like everything in a shot was there on purpose, which it should be, but that's not always the case. This film was shot in India. Well, at least part of it was shot in India. They had to move production because of the coronavirus and all that, so they end up shooting it in Indonesia, the majority of the film. But you feel, you know, this wasn't filmed in a soundstage or anything, you know, none of that. This was filmed out there, you know. It was in the elements. You just felt the world. The world looked real and lived in, and beautifully done. The aspect of the religious discrimination, we get a hint of that early on, and that's one of the main storylines throughout the film, is this discrimination of religion. And I can tell, you know, just in the showing I was at, that a few people were kind of uncomfortable with that. You know, how there were different religions and they didn't understand what was going on, and they just kind of checked out of it. You could tell, you know, I didn't have to talk to them. I could tell they were kind of checked out of it. And that was the whole point of the movie. The whole point was to say, yes, I worship, I am Hindu, or I'm Muslim, or I'm this, but we all worship the same God. At the end of the day, we worship the same God. And that line was said in the movie. So it's like, what are you uncomfortable about? You know, do your research. I went and did some research after I watched the movie, you know, on some things they were talking about in this film, you know, just to educate myself on some of the stuff. And it's very interesting stuff. And, you know, I'm not saying I'm converting to nothing, but I'm just saying it's interesting stuff. It's good to learn other cultures, other beliefs, other creeds, you know, because you'll be surprised on how similar, you know, their beliefs are to your own beliefs. Yeah, they may call certain things by different names that we would call them, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It is very similar. But this was a very powerful film. Powerful film. Unbelievably. Wasn't expecting that. You know, like I said, I thought this was going to be a John Wick movie. I thought it was going to be a John Wick ripoff. And I was happily surprised that it wasn't. Now, to make it even funnier, John Wick is mentioned in the movie. They mentioned John Wick when Dav Patel's character was going to buy a gun, and the guy that was selling him the gun was like, "Oh yeah, this the one John Wick used in that movie." You know, it was kind of poking fun at the genre, you know, and it's just to say, and he didn't take that gun, he took a different gun just to say, this is not John Wick. That was the whole purpose of that scene. And I immediately went to smile, and I was like, okay, we're in for a different type of ride here. And it was. This isn't an action-packed film. It's not action-packed from beginning to end, a la John Wick. It's more story-driven, but that's a good thing, you know, because it's an interesting story to tell. Now, when we get to the action, oh boy, oh boy, the action is brutal. This is a brutal film, bloody film. I mean, some of the stuff in here that Dav Patel and other characters do throughout the film, you would be like, oh my God. Even I went to cringe, and I'm desensitized to all of this stuff. I've just seen it all. But some of the stuff, I was like, ooh, you know, had me kind of like, wow. But I loved it, you know. It was well choreographed fight sequences here. And I love the fact that our main character was not a special ops former Green Beret, ex-Navy SEAL, ex-Special Force operative who knows every fighting style that there is and can get out of every situation possible and all that. No. This was a average, ordinary guy like me or you who is in this situation but is driven for a common goal. And that's what it is. He gets beat up. He gets stabbed. He gets everything that you can imagine done to him gets done to him. And it wasn't done in a Hollywood movie star way. You know, you in the action films when you see the star get shot or stabbed and, you know, a couple of scenes later they act like nothing ever happened. I say a couple of scenes. It can be in that very scene. Later on in that scene, it is like nothing happened, you know, like they're bulletproof or, you know, oh, I'll worry about that stab wound to the chest later, you know, type stuff. Not in here. When Dav Patel gets hurt, injured, or whatever, he has to recover. He has to take a knee, man. He's going to have to answer that 8 count. He really gets beat up here and messed up and have to go get stitched up and get help from somebody else to help him recover and things of that nature. And I deeply appreciated that. It added an element of realism to that character and to the film. If I had flaws, which I do, if I had to really harp on the flaws of Monkey Man, and towards the middle, or I would say the entire second act of this film, it was kind of boring. You know, it was a lot of story being told here, a lot. And if I was directing this film or a part of this production, I probably would have threw in an action sequence in that second act just to kind of wake people up, because there was a period of, I mean, maybe an hour where there was no action. There was no action whatsoever. Now, after that second act and business picked up, it picked up in a major way. And so it, you know, it's not, you will be rewarded for getting through that middle part of this film, but it was just, you got to get through the middle part. It's kind of a task, but it wasn't bad storytelling within that hour. It really pushed the story forward, and you really got an understanding of Dav Patel's character here in this movie. So it wasn't wasted time per se. It was just kind of boring. It was a lot of talking. And when you go in to an action thriller, your mind is set in one mode: action, action, action. And you're not expecting a long drought without action. So that's what kind of threw me off. But I was still excited and happy with the film overall. Kudos to Dav Patel for this film. I am happy that he's getting the love that he is deeply, deeply deserved for this project. Kudos also to Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele, he's listed as a producer of this film, but he came on late. It wasn't like he was a hands-on producer throughout the production. He saw the film. This initially was going to be a Netflix film, and Jordan Peele so happened to get his hands on it. He watched it, and he convinced Universal Pictures to purchase the movie from Netflix and give it a theatrical release because he felt it was that good. And that's the reason why we're getting this in theaters, and that's why Jordan Peele is listed as a producer on this film. And I agree with it. I deeply agree with that decision. It deserves a theatrical viewing. It was a good time in the theater. At least it was for me. That's why I'm giving Dav Patel's Monkey Man a letter grade of a B. Yes, it was really good. Really, really good. Not your conventional paint by numbers action revenge flick. This actually has depth. This actually has some deep moments and will make you think and make you look up some things. Because I went home and before I did this review, I had to go and look up some stuff. It made me want to learn about this culture and about these deities that they were talking about. And I think I'm better for it. I love that about it. If that was the goal, to teach somebody, to reach somebody, mission accomplished. You got me. Monkey Man is currently in a theater near you. Are you planning on checking out Monkey Man, or have you checked it out? And what were your thoughts? You can email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also look up the KB Radio Network on all social media platforms. You can also subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the Concession Stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of Monkey Man. Can't wait to speak to you on the next go around. I want you all to know that I love you. Continue to love everyone. And until we speak again, you all be blessed.